Good morning. Today is the 29th of August 2023 and I'm going to go over my trade plan for today. So first before we start is economic news. So we've got today. So we've got one big one today, and that's the job openings, and that's at 10 AM. I think that's the only big one. Yep, job openings 10 AM. And we've got, that's it really. All the others are minor ones. We've got 4:30 after market. So that's the only one to watch out for. 10 AM. So mark 10 AM on your notepad and be wary not to, make sure you're not in or taking any trades on that time, so we could see some movement. Okay, so on my screen at the moment is the MES 1 hour time frame, and we're currently looking at the last couple of days. So we had this big sell-off on Friday, and then yesterday, just remind myself, what day is it today? The 29th. Yeah, bank holiday yesterday. I was trying to work out, it feels like a Monday today, but because it was a bank holiday here in the UK yesterday, I was thinking, hang on, that couldn't have been Monday yesterday, but it was. So Monday yesterday, bank holiday Monday. So today's a normal day in the UK, so I'm trying to get my head around that. I think the US market's closed next Monday possibly, so I actually get a day off when the rest of the UK don't have a day off. So anyway, we saw this big sell-off last week on Friday. Yesterday, which we now established as Monday, we had, not yesterday, where are we? Friday. I told you it's confusing. So Friday then we had the follow through on the sell-off, and then we had a bit of a recovery, and then we consolidated in the pre-market yesterday morning, and we saw it break out. It kind of hovered around this level, pulled back, and I took an entry just there and got out up here, and it's been in this range. And today, or yesterday's post-market, or today's pre-market, it broke out, still really within that area there, never touched the levels we put in. This is from yesterday as well, 44.53, touched it, rejected it, and we're looking like we're in the same range again. So my levels are not really any different to what we had yesterday. Let's just have a look at the overall picture. Yeah, okay, so if we see a break of this trend, then I'll be looking for possibly there's a high risk rejection here. We've got to see a bit of a decent pullback, and then I pull into this area for another leg down. If we see a bit of a sell-off, I think this is the area I want to watch again. The area I watched yesterday was 44.24. So it's a high risk bounce at this point, but I think maybe we could be looking for a break or retest as well. So there's two potential plays: high risk bounce at 44.24, and that's with a confirmation. So we're looking for a bottom candle, and then we're looking for a push above that candle. That's a confirmation. Or a better confirmation would be it comes in, pulls back, makes a double bottom, and then we get in as it pushes back up again. So I would put this as a high risk a test and a break and retest. This is going to be a higher risk bounce, and then we're looking then for a break and retest of this level short as well. And as for a decent bounce, we've still got this supply area here, and we've got this heavy congested volume as well, and this orange red line is our point of control. So this acts as natural support as well. So potentially we could look for a bounce around 44.06 to 44.10. And this is the same area I was watching yesterday. This is my higher probability setup. You know, by the time we get down there, we've had to break down through this hourly 60 as well. So be wary that we have to break the 60, and we would have broken this hourly uptrend as well. You know, we've broken it here. we pulled through. Now we're testing this area, and potentially we could pull through and put in another leg down. I think that's it really. So just to recap the levels, potentially we can watch for a rejection at 44.53, but that is more likely going to be a break and retest area at 44.53 with a target area of around 44.81 up here. If we come down, we're looking for a bounce. Possibly a better idea would be a double bottom bounce, maybe with a slightly higher low, and then we can get in on the break of that one. So that'll be it'll be a scalp as well, because we will be going against, it'll be this trend we'll be going against rather than this micro trend. A higher probability bounce will be this area 44.06, 44.10. So that's what I'll be watching for today. So higher probability here, higher probability here, and these lines in between are all higher risk trades. And if we do see a break through here, something to keep an eye on, and we come back down, we've got this supply area. However, we've got this very low area of volume. So unlike this area, which is acting as natural support, if we are, it may not be today, but if we do get down to this area 43.60, 43.50, potentially we could see a big move down because there's no volume to stop it. So that's something to watch out for. If I just zoom out a bit, let's go to the daily for a second. So on the daily chart, let's let the volume set itself up. So we've got congested volume here, congested volume here, which is signified by, look at that, one of our levels I put in, which is this area here, tops of this candles here, and it happens to be this high congested area of volume of control as well. So this is why I like this area for a rejection, which is why it's on my hourly. So 44.80 as a nice rejection area if we can get up there. And obviously we've got all of this support, all of this resistance over here. And as for the bounce, I'm just looking at the volume. So we've got highly congested volume around here where we are right now. But if we do break through down this area, look at the daily, the volume just drops off. And if we do eventually get past this area, there's no volume here at all. So potentially, if we see a potential break and retest, we could just see it just plummet because there's no volume to hold it up. So let's just zoom out a bit more so we can get our volume profile. That's interesting. Now look at this. So if we do break through this area, look at that for volume, nothing at all. So there's no volume at all around here. So potentially, this is on the daily, we could look for a break of this area, and we could be looking for this area, which is already marked up on chart 40.42. So there's nothing, there's no volume in this. This is a big void, this is. So this is a potential area. We could see a big move if we get back down there. But maybe not today, maybe not this week. August is a light volume month as well. So potentially we may see this area break in September. What was September last year? I think September we saw a bit of a dip as well. So on the daily we have potentially a couple of outcomes here. So we're currently in a downtrend on daily. At the moment we're just going on a bit of sideways. We could potentially be putting in this flag pattern. We touched the 20 moving average today in the pre-market, so potentially we could see a rejection like we saw there, and we saw here, and we saw here. And so the area to watch will be yesterday's low, so that's why we want to watch for a break and retest yesterday's low as well. But it's got to get through this highly congested area of volume. So quickly back to the hourly so we know where we are. So let's just show you the levels again one more time. Let's zoom out a bit more so we can see more of the hourly picture. So this is the area on watch around here. If we can break down through this area, then we've got this big void and this void is the area, we could see a big move down. We've got a few potential areas as well. 4300, about 43, 4310, 43, 4225, 4230, and then this area which probably will be the last line in the sand, and that will be 4160 area. And obviously we've got this double bottom to break through. If we get down there, I'll remark my supply and demand zones. And then we've got this big void on the where we've got, look at that, you can see this on the hourly as well. There's no volume at all around here, very minimal volume. So if we break past here, we potentially can get back down to this level here. And if we break through this area here, which is this area, is a big void below here as well, so there's no volume, and our next area of volume will be this area here. So yeah, we could potentially see some big moves over the next coming days, months, over the next month or so. Right, so let's have a quick look at some other stocks. Before I close the video, I'll come back to this. So we've got the levels, these are levels I'm really watching. So SPY, very similar to the ES, we've got this rejection area at 44, well 446 area roughly, and that's a higher probability rejection, and we've got this higher probability long between 435 and 436, so probably 436 would be that pivot, and here, so it would be between 436.20 to 435.50. So that's an area to watch on SPY. These are, I'm only going through the high probability, and obviously you've got the break and retest these areas, what we discussed in the ES as well, and obviously potential bounces, we see bounces as well. Okay, looking at Qs. I've not looked at Qs today, I've not looked at it for a few days actually. Okay, so we've got this engulfing bar which has rejected the 50 moving average on the daily. We've got the bottoms of these candles, the tops of these candles. So this is an area 364, which happens to also be the highest congested volume area with the point of control going right through it. So 364 has a potential bounce, and that is natural resistance because of this volume control. Again, similar to ES, if we break through these areas here, volume drops right off, so potentially we could see a big move down. And we've got the top of this area as a rejection as well, so 372 for a rejection, and it's got to be around here, and a bounce around 348 on the Qs. I think NQs is what I do prefer to look at. Back onto the hourly. So again, similar to the ES, the volume drops off when we get below here. So potentially we were looking for a break and retest of 14.8, and maybe we can drop through here. Then there's be a bit of a void down to this pivot here, so that's a potential target. Potential bounce at 14,600 area. Zoom out a bit more. And look at that void in the volume. So the lack of volume here, in fact the lack of volume along here, shows potentially once we break through this level here, 14,400 area, there we've got this big void which we can keep an eye on for potential short until we get back down to this area here. So potentially we've got some big moves coming up on NQ if we can crack down through this area. But today we've got to be watching so in that area there, so 15,400 as a higher probability rejection, and 14,600 as a higher probability bounce. And then lastly, oil. Look at the oil's great because look at that continuous This is daily, good volume on the dailies. Go to the hourly. Pretty good volume in the pre-market as well. You know, you see it dip off, so it's not a bad one to play outside of normal US hours. So I was just about to call this level and it's already happened. So we've come back in for the bounce off of 80.14, which is also the 50 moving average, this area of resistance, and also we've got the congested volume and this red line. So potentially we could see a move down to this area and then look for a break back up. We've got the 200, a sideways 200, so it's not really doing much. But we've got this area of support as well to keep an eye on, and that's around 79.80, and so potentially that's a higher probability bounce area there. We've bounced off there once, twice, lots of times, 10 times. So we might just see it start to falter and then break through. But again, play with confirmation, and we've got this double top we've just seen as well. Let's look at the bigger picture. So the bigger picture for higher probability, we got this area here, 81.50 for a rejection. I still quite like this bounce here because of this volume. So I think around this area for a bounce to continue this trend. We talked about it yesterday as well. We've got this double bottom here, pull back, this nice higher low, pushed in, higher high, higher low. It's an equal high, but it is pre-market at the moment. So potentially we could break out and push up. So I think this is definitely looking more bullish than bearish at the moment, even though we're in the daily downtrend. Let's a quick look at the daily. So the daily, we could just be seeing just a healthy pullback on the daily. High high, higher, high low, coming in. We haven't broken this level really, so we're not in a downtrend on the daily yet until we can break down and pull back up and confirm it. We could just be going sideways for a bit and then coming back up for a double top. So this is one to keep an eye on because I think we've got a nice move come back up to this double top soon. So if I were to take it today, I think the best way of time, with 10 minutes before the market opens. Yeah, I think this level here off the 200, that area, so 79.80 as a potential. I'll just put that in there. 79.76 as a potential bounce area, and then a continuation of the move up. Looks like we're just putting in a bit of a sideways rest. I think that's it really. We're still above the 200. We're still above the 50. So still look, this is still in an hourly uptrend at the moment. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to go back to MES because this is the one I'll be really watching today. Just to recap the levels: higher probability rejection off of here, which may also touch this lower trend line. If we do move up, it'll be a big move up today, and so potentially we could see a bigger move back down again. So 44.81 to 44.86 is the zone I'm watching, and again I'll only get into that with a layer. So take a starter entry as it gets close to the zone. Another starter entry will probably be at 44.81, that dotted line, and then this yellow solid line is a daily level as well, so that'll be another start position just there. And if it stops me, if it breaks through, then I'll stop out just above that area, and so that'll only be 1/4 of a loss and maybe a third of a loss and a very small loss, and not even a 1 hour loss, about 0.7 hour loss if it breaks through this area. And if it doesn't, then we've got this move back down, reject it back down probably to this area here as a target. So that's a high probability rejection, and a high probability bounce will be 44.06 around here. But also keeping an eye on these potential areas because we could also be looking for a break and retest back down. And then obviously you know what I think about if we break down through this area here, this lower, almost zero volume void. So I'll be looking for shorts as if we get round here like a break and retest short. Right, have a lovely day trading.